Welcome to Selling in the Motor Trade, in association with Automotive Management and symcotraining. This is the weekly podcast where we share best practice, tips, and ideas on how to sell more cars, improve your service department, and generally put more profit into your dealership or dealer group. I'm your host, Simon Bowkett, or some of you might already know me as Skippy. And firstly, I want to say thank you for taking the time to tune in. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Selling in the Motor Trade. Today, I'm joined by Colin McAllister, and we're going to be talking about how to get salespeople to do what they should do. We're going to be talking about motivation, getting people to do the actual job of management. And Colin, there's something that I remember years ago. Someone told me the best job description for a sales manager is just to read their business card. And a sales manager is manage the sale. So that's what this episode's all about. So do us a favor. If you like this, please forward it on to your other managers within the group, your organization. Give us a like, send some comments there. We really do appreciate it. So Colin, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Simon. Pleasure to be here. That's actually just reminded me of another story. The secret to leadership.
Yeah.
Be worth following.
Be worth following.
Yeah. Just that's nice, simple quote. Yeah.
That's so true. Hey, listen, Colin, so many times, I don't know about if it happened to you. And in fact, I know it happened to you because we know your story. But I know myself. I was the top salesperson in a dealership. The sales manager left. I got thrown in the chair. I remember thinking, what the bloody hell am I doing? And I suppose I reverted back to type, and I was just trying to sell every single car there myself. I thought it was so much easier, get out of my way, let me just do it. And I made all the mistakes. Hey, listen, I want to explore what your views are on what a good sales manager should be doing in this day and age to get the best out of their team.
Well, I think it comes down to coaching. And I always use the analogy of the best coaching experience that human beings get is when they're a baby, and specifically when they're learning to walk. Right. So when you're teaching a baby to walk, you're holding up with the armpits, and you're a clever boy. Oh, you look at that. Oh, he's made this, and you're actually making the steps with your arms like this for them. And then maybe you hold their hands, and oh, he's amazing. He's stood this, and then you'll stand in front of them and they'll take a wee tiny baby step, pun intended, and you catch them. Oh, he's absolutely brilliant. Right now, if you took it to that sales manager that's been made into a sales manager, and the way I always refer to those sales managers is, oh, that's Big Davy's left. We need a new manager. Right, boys, show us your watches. And all the salesmen get their watches out, and the guy with the biggest watch gets a job as a sales manager. So you take that guy who's never had any management training, and he's to teach this baby to walk. Like, 1990s when it happened to me is like, you're useless. You'll never walk. You're as well just crawling. I tell you what, I'll do all the walking. You just sit there and gurgle. And that's what we get out of our team. They just sit there and gurgle because there's that vortex of incompetence. If I'm doing the salesperson's job of selling every car, then is it any wonder that the salespeople are only selling any cars because they've not got any space?
Yeah.
So what happens is on those guys, on their days off, the sales team sell loads of cars because actually he's not there selling the cars, so you can get on with the job. It's strange, but so for me, it's that positive reinforcement. It's building and rewarding. Yes, you're going to challenge the negative behaviours that need to change, but at the same time, we need to recognise. We seem to forget when we get that manager badge.
Yep.
Good job, well done, thank you.
Yeah.
Those three double words. Positive reinforcement tools. I think you used to say, speak to your staff like you expect them to speak to your customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's beautiful. That really does sum it up. It reminded me of the girl Karen Brady.
Yes, yeah.
So she was the first managing director of a football club, Birmingham. I don't know much about football, but I remember this program because I was fascinated by her management style, and she got the whole club together. The people that cut the grass, the people that tidy up the changing rooms, and the players.
Yeah.
And she just says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we are ladies and gentlemen, and we will talk to each other like ladies and gentlemen. And if I catch anyone not doing that, doesn't matter if you're the best grass cutter in the club or the best goal scorer in the club, you're out. And it was just that consistent standard. That was beautiful.
That consistent everywhere. That's true. Talk about management, and so many things come to mind. One of the best books is The 1 Minute Manager. And it just tells a lovely, lovely story in there about how people are motivated. And so often it's management style is leave people alone until they've done something wrong and then zap them and then zap them. You've done this wrong, and you've done that wrong, and then this wrong. And it's so true. And what that's really stuck in my mind, what we do is imagine a bowling alley, okay? And someone throws the ball down and there's no pins there. How often would the game of bowling, 10-pin bowling, last if there's no pins? Not that long at all. So we need a result to get the motivation, okay? And the result motivates us, good and bad, because we want to get better. But what happens in the motor trade, what we do is we put a sheet in between the person bowling and the pins, and we put a manager on the other side of the sheet. So what happens is the person throws the ball down. They hear the tinkle, tinkle. They know there's some result, but they're not sure what it is. So when the manager then yells out and says, you got 6. Actually, no. So this is the motor trade. The manager yells out, you missed 4.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say that. You missed. They wouldn't even say you've missed 4. They would just say you missed.
You missed.
You didn't get all 10.
So true. And Kenneth Blanchard, I think it was Kenneth Blanchard, 1 Minute Manager, great book for anyone listening to this. He said, why don't we just take the sheet off and let people know what the results are? Okay. But the other thing that really excites me about the kid learning to walk, we're only motivated as humans by 2 things: seek pleasure, avoid pain. It's that carrot and the stick. Okay. But so many times it's the stick. You've done this wrong. You've done that wrong. You've done this wrong. You've done that wrong. And I just love the idea of catch people doing things right. Catch the ta-das in the business. We call it the ta-das. Okay. Sorry, I cut you off there, Colin.
No, I was just going to say, frequently, it's that we haven't actually congratulated them on any success. But the other thing on the negative one is quite frequently we leave it until it's got really, really bad. We don't just correct on the way. And I think it was the girl's called Shari Harley, and she's written a book called How to Say Anything to Anyone, right?
Yeah.
And so she blames it, all of this thing, on people's mums, because your mum says to you, if you don't have anything positive to say,
don't say anything at all.
Right? And so we've got this in our head, and we go, oh yeah, I've not really got anything positive to say him. I mean, I could say to him, he turned up for work on time today and he shaved, but and so we're thinking, what do we say that's positive? And she's got this lovely formula that she just says, listen, can I have a chat with you? I've noticed this. Here's the impact of that. What are your thoughts? Yeah. And then they shut up and the person says, this is, I noticed you didn't sell any VPPs last month. You had 50% finance income. You did 22 cars, but you didn't sell any VPPs. Now, the problem with that is we're not making the profit target we should. And are we actually treating customers fairly under the FCA? And so we might have customers that are exposed to a bit of money. What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I find it difficult. I've sold the car and I feel like that's the... And so then we can get the coaching mechanism. Well, can I make a suggestion to you? Can we try this? Listen, thanks for having that conversation. And that's her formula. And it's really... I mean, she goes through how to tell somebody they smell and all the rest of it.
Oh, see, I'm glad you said that. I was in a dealership. As a trainer, consultant, you get this all the time. I can remember a few times in my career, actually, but it's one specific. They said, hey, Simon, I'm glad you're here today. You need to speak to this salesperson. He's got really bad BO. Okay. I'm like, hold on. I'm here to teach the guys how to sell more cars, sell more products, make money. Surely that's something you can do. But you hit the nail on the head. The management team was just too scared to say anything to him. Mm-hmm. How long had this been going on? Far too long. I tell you what, when I sat down with a guy, I said, hey, listen, this is really easy, mate, but there's no hints or whatever. Listen, fella, this is costing you money. You need to get some good deodorant on there, because moving the cars all day in the forecourt, you're actually getting a bit of odor. And tell you what, you go on a demonstration drive with a customer, they're not going to tell you. In fact, your colleagues probably won't even tell you, because I know they wouldn't have. But listen, just get it sorted. It was fixed so quick. But why did they let it, and forgive the pun here, fester for so long? But
back to that, if you don't have anything positive to say, don't say anything at all. So we avoid it. And then what will happen is we'll catch them doing something else and go completely overboard on that rather than tackle the issue. And I think, you know, if you look at Cam Brady and you look at my first sales manager, I told the story of him, you know, in the earlier podcast, Ali Johnson with the £20 and his standard. If you breach the standard, you were told about it, you were challenged about it. And it's, you know, I see sales managers a lot, and some of them make it because they're really good at managing profit or managing, I call them metal managers. And so they're great, you know, prepping the cars. So they invest time and money prepping the cars. They invest time and money getting the best photographs for the cars, and invest time and money listing those cars on the right sites. But how much time and money have they invested in the people that they want to sell those cars and making them more attractive to the marketplace? And you know, your guys are a great example of that. You know, how long did that take you? 10 minutes?
If that, yeah, exactly. In fact, up to that point, they were leaving hints. They buy a bottle of deodorant and leave it on his desk. I mean, what sort of, sorry to say this, but weak management is it? They're just scared to say that, absolutely scared. And, you know, the result is how much do they cost that lad, the business, everyone there, just for something that's so simple. Yeah. But feedback is, all the champions, give me feedback, good and bad. Let me know what I'm doing right and wrong, so you can do more of it. And listen, the other thing I really love is the idea of catching people doing the rights. And here's another analogy. I want you to think about if you've been in this situation, or maybe the listeners have. You got a niece or a nephew, and they may be, I don't know, 4 or 5. They come and draw you a picture of a boat. And they come over and say, Uncle Colin, I drew you a picture of a boat. And straight away we go, wow, that's brilliant. Now you have to say, what is it? It's a boat. You then say, of course it is. That's brilliant. But straight away, Colin, what are you going to see pictures of all afternoon? You just know that niece or nephew is going to say, oh, Uncle Colin, you think that's good? Wait till you see the next one. And you're going to see pictures of boats all afternoon until their mum or dad says, Uncle Colin's seen enough boats now. But here's the other thing I love about that. Something else happens. If it's a 4 or 5-year-old niece or nephew, they might have an older sibling. And they see this happening. They go, oh, you think that's a boat? That's a good boat? Hey, you're only 4. I'm 6 3/4. Wait till you see this boat. So, Colin, not only are you going to see boats all afternoon from the younger niece or nephew, it's the older one as well, because it's that praise. It's the effort that you've actually rewarded, not the result. And I just think as managers, we need to look for the effort in a dealership, not just the result, and reinforce that positive effort, because it's the effort is going to get them the result.
We've got one of our managers, I won't name him to embarrass him, but he runs 2 of our sites, the same brand. And what he does is he looks at the rapid response emails that go to a customer, and he looks at the see it now, the 360 walk around videos that go to a customer. And what he does is he picks the most personalized one of them that is sent to a customer, regardless of the outcome, whether it's a lost sale or a sale, whether it made $6,000 or lost $6,000. He rewards that activity, and that person, they get the carry out of their choice to their house on the Saturday night for them and their entire family. So and he does it every week without fail, and he announces it on the Friday, shows the example, so it's either the email or it's the video, shows the example on a Zoom meeting for both the sites, and you should see the quality of the videos and the email responses. You don't get a phone me from that. And he'll go through why he's picked it and why he thinks that's number one and the specifics of it. So a bit like that bowling analogy. You know, one of the exercises I do, and I don't know if you've ever tried this, you get a manager to throw a ball in a bin and it's behind.
No, talk us through this. So
it's one of my favorite coaching exercises. I do it a lot. So you've got a manager, and he's the bin's behind him, and he's got a tennis ball, and he's got to throw the ball in the bin. And my job as a coach is to get that ball in the bin, right? So I set the room up and I say to them, look, you know, I'm an expert at giving performance enhancing feedback. So, you know, don't interrupt. Don't give the guy any clues. Don't go, oh, I'm going to give him feedback. So just you guys settle it. So I say, right, you see when that bin is, right? That's the last time you can look at that. So you know where it is. Right, I want you to throw the ball, get it in the bin. Sort of the first throw. And I do my traditional 1980s sales manager. You missed. Next one. That was shit. Next one. You're not even trying, son. Right. So I give him that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
The ball just, he's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Have you moved the bin at any point?
No.
So
then I say to the guys, look, I wouldn't move the targets. Well, that would be a crazy idea, right? So then, so I say, guys, what's happening here, guys? He's rubbish. And they'll go, actually, Colin, you're rubbish. You're rubbish at giving them the feedback there. How's that helping? Oh, all right, okay, so it's me. So let's improve the feedback. So I get them to throw and I say, listen, that was a wee bit wide, but it was the right length. And I go, is that any better? And they go, aye. I said, well, it's not really any better because how wide is it? He doesn't know how to correct it and wide to what side. So I say, are you centimetres or are you imperial? Oh, I'm centimetres. Okay, excellent. Well, that throw was 6 centimetres to your right from the target. If you keep it the same length, you'll get it in the bin. No problem at all. Now, listen, this is my responsibility to get in the bin, not yours. I'm going to help you. And then what happens is within 2 or 3 throws of that change, it goes in the bin. And what and this is a crazy thing, I'll say to him, he'll throw it and I'll go, where do you think that was? I think I threw that a bit too heavy, but the line was good. You were absolutely right. The line was absolutely perfect, but it was 15 centimetres too long. So just try and reduce that length of 15 centimetres. You'll get it in. Right, just picture that and have another go. And it's incredible, Simon. I've done that with managing directors of groups when I was, I had my own training business like you. And it was terrific fun. You're in a meeting with 3 directors going, yes, well, how are you going to get my sales team? And you get this bin and a tennis ball. And you go, this is how I'm going to do it. But that feedback model, and I do that as part of our, we have a program called Up For It. A shameless plug. You'll get your plugs in a wee second. But, how we avoid that big watch manager syndrome is we have a program called Up For It. So at the people's appraisals, what they'll do is they'll say, I'd like to get into management. I'd like to improve my career and get on. And so their managers contact myself and our group HR director, Julie, and we put them forward for this program called Up For It. And they've got to do a presentation, and it's a Dragon's Den scenario. Mm-hmm. And then they've got to have a business improvement plan they present at Dragon's Den, and then they've got to go away and implement. And we, train them. We get people, we've got Mark Bowman involved. We've got a guy called Cy Willie from the Royal Marines, a holder of the Military Cross involved. Funk Roberts, an MMA coach from Canada. So we get all sorts of outside of the industry people involved in this program, and we get them ready to be a manager. Mm-hmm. And so we start out with about 22 people on it. And the great thing that happens is some people go, do you know what? This management stuff just isn't for me. And if it was that guy with a big watch, he'd probably leave the company and would lose his talent. Mm-hmm. And he got a big watch because he was great at selling cars. Yeah. So, so we don't want to lose that talent, and we don't want him upsetting any other talent and losing them either. So this is a way of him stepping back, going, that's not for me. And that happens, and I take that as a success. Normally, there's 9 graduate out of 22, and they've probably been promoted as the programs went on because they've all of a sudden stepped up. Yeah, people around about them have went, wow, this guy's doing a terrific job. And so that works really, really well, that Up For It program, and just getting them ready to be a manager, and also to realise that sometimes management's no for you. There's nothing wrong with being the best car salesperson in the universe, the best valeter in the universe, the best showroom host in the universe. If that's your talent, and you're like Muhammad Ali, if I was going to be a bin man, I'd be the best bin man in the world. If you're brilliant at doing that, then keep doing that. And make it safe.
Well, listen, I want to get your views on it. The managers listen to this. They're sitting there thinking, well, hold on, what do I do to get my guys up to speed and do what they should do? So we got to look for and reward effort. I think that's number one that's come through. That's nice and clear there. But also, one of our claim to fame, there was I wish I could have Gareth here talking about this story. I had a business manager in a dealership said, Simon, I'm pulling my hair out. I've got the top salesperson, doesn't sell bottom products at all. He's useless at it. But this business manager was getting in at the neck from head office because, of course, his whole penetration looked really bad. Whenever he'd say to his dealer principal, hold on, the issue here is that top salesperson, the dealer principal would say, hold on, he's selling us 350 units a year. Don't say his shit. Your shit, you're the business manager. Get it sorted. He said, Skip, what do I do? And the downside is when we had a look at it, he kept on saying, you're crap, you're crap, you're crap. But if you keep telling people they're crap, they're going to be crap. A great analogy. I urge anyone listening to this, go and do it. And I learned this from a Zig Ziglar conference there. He said, right, go out into the, wherever you are, into the showroom, turn around, have a look for how much of the color brown you can see. So I get the people, I'm talking around, see where the brown, you see where it is? Yeah, got it. Okay, right, shut your eyes. Can you see where all the brown is? Yep, can see all the brown. Okay, keeping your eyes shut, how much blue can you see, the color blue? Invariably, Colin, they go, none really. Great, now open your eyes and tell me how much blue you can see. And of course, second time around, there's blue cars, there's blue shirts, there's blue ties, there's blue sky, there's blue everywhere. And then here was Zig Ziglar's analogy. I think it was Zig Ziglar. Again, someone will come in and tell us who it was, but he turned around and said, you see, when you were looking for brown, did you turn some beige into brown? You did. Yeah. In fact, sometimes we as humans, we turn shit into shit that's not shit because you're looking for it. But when you're looking for the blue, you'll find blue. So actually, with your salesperson, I said to Gareth, okay, don't look for when he's shit. We're going to catch him doing things right. Let's try this. And he was really skeptical. I wish I had him here on this podcast. So I said, one day, through no fault of his own, this salesperson's going to sell Gap. Now, what I want you to do is, in front of everyone else, in the sales meeting, okay, I want you to turn around and praise the effort. I want you to say, hey, listen, thank you very much for selling that Gap. That was really good. I can remember Gareth, he was so skeptical. I said, try it. Nothing else is working. Yep. You may as well try it. He phones me up. He said, Skip, it's worked exactly as you said, better. And what happened, Colin, was this guy sold a Gap. Gareth was in there with a brand new salesperson. And the salesperson, top guy, walks in and said, there you go. I've sold you a Gap. He said, every part of me wanted to go, you've sold one for yourself and look at the commission. But Skip, I listened to what you said. I bit my tongue. I said, hey, thanks for that. Hey, listen, would you do me a favor? Will you show the new guy how you sold it?
Brilliant. The best way to learn is to teach.
Straight away. And Gareth says, it's brilliant. He turns around and he said, Simon, I'm going to tell you, I've seen the worst presentation on Gap insurance I'd ever seen in my life. And every part of me wanted to say, that's why you're not selling Gap. No wonder you're not selling it. That's shite. But I bit my tongue. Okay. He left. I grabbed this new guy and said, yeah, you could do it that way, or you could do it like this. But here's a funny thing, Colin. The very next customer the salesperson spoke to, guess what he did?
Sold the Gap.
Sold Gap. It gets better. The next day in the sales meeting, okay, he turns around and says, hey guys, first I've got to say, top sales guy, Paul, thank you very, very much for that. Sold 3 cars yesterday. Hey, 2 of them had Gap, 66% hit rate. That's not bad. Would you do me a favor? Will you show the whole team how you've done it? Colin, it was quite funny. Gareth said he's seen the second worst presentation on Gap. Because you know what? He's getting better now. Mm-hmm. And he can't be a great salesperson without knowing how to sell. Okay. But something really strange happened. Something I didn't think would happen. But what happened was all the other siblings in the team said, that's a shite way of selling Gap. I do it like this. No, I do it like that. He said it got into a huge almost debate about how to sell it. I watched Paul. You could see he was sitting there stewing. You could see the cogs were turning. And you know, he's sitting there thinking, yeah, I'll show you. That week, of course, the top salesperson, Paul, sells more Gap than anyone else then. Totally unprompted, the FD of the group turns up and said, oh, Paul, well done. Big hit rate on Gap. Here's the thing. It's one of those lovely little things by reading a book, getting a few ideas, trying something different, rewarding the effort, not the result, in front of people, doing the wows. He went from being not selling any value-added products to actually was the top in the group on Gap for a while. Now, hey, listen, it's not permanent. We had to keep revisiting it, okay? but it proved it could be done. I just love stories like that. So, Colin, listen to me rant on there. You must have other stories like that where you've got someone that you've taken there that other managers are given up on. Other managers just think, hold on, they're never going to make it. And you must have turned them. What is it that turns it around? What is it? Have they gone to another manager's place? Have they given up? I tell you that story because I see some people that they're fired from a business. They go to another dealership and they're a superstar. What is it, do you think?
Well, I mean, I talked about that in my last podcast with a flower can't grow in the wrong pot. And you get this a lot. And we did a program. You've just reminded me, actually. So this is entirely off the cuff. But we did a program called the Sales Performance Boost Program. So this was people who were tracking below the rate of sales that they need, right? So
good people, but they've just gone off the boil.
Yeah, they've gone off the boil. And do you know what? That happens. As you said it there, the guy was top of the group, but it wasn't permanent. And it's back to that. There's a fantastic kind of martial arts phrase. Training is like sweeping the floor. Just because we've done it once, it doesn't mean the floor's clean forever. Every day the dust comes back, so every day we must sweep. And so we've got to keep going with this. And so what we did with the Sales Performance Boost Program, we got the people who were, in our bottom 20%. And when we employed them, we didn't think, we're going to take that guy on and he'll give us 8 cars instead of 12, and he'll give us 11 cars instead of 15. We took him on because we thought he was going to give us 15. And so frequently we'd go in and we'd start to just look at, what's the activity that you're doing? Let's see your sales activity report, and we'd go in and you'd look, and sometimes it's okay, this person's not test driving, and you say, listen, I've noticed you're not test driving. What are the barriers to you test driving? Okay, it's this. Look, let's just change it so we're assuming. What's going to happen, sir, when we're setting the agenda? What's going to happen, sir, is while our manager's getting the best possible part exchange for your car to find it a new home, then what we'll do is we'll get a test drive in this vehicle, because no matter what research you've done online, this is the one thing that you haven't been able to do, and it's really important that if you're going to be in this car for 3 years, you're going to love it. So I'll get the keys, give me your license, I'll get you on the insurance, and you just assume it. And then it could be that they are test driving, but the test drive is really quick, so let's look at the route you're doing. Let's look at what you're saying while you're at. So you would just give them some activities, and it was that simple. No more than 2 things to concentrate on. You don't want to go, well, listen, you're shit at that, you're shit at this, you're shit at that. The guy's going, Christ. So it's like, okay, look, you're good at these bits. Let's look at this and see what the result can be. And it's that, getting that. And also, while you're talking to them, you find out their why. Why do you come to work every day? Why do you want it? What are you going to do with this money that you're going to earn? Are you going to buy a boat? Are you going to buy a house in Greece? Or you just want to go a fantastic holiday? You want to get yourself a big watch? And you get their why. Yeah. And then from that, you can drive. Now, we had a guy who was in a used car department in one of our top performing dealerships. He was not performing at all. Okay. And I was sent in to do this Sales Performance Boost program with him, and I did loads of stuff. And the problem I had was his manager didn't want him. His manager just didn't want him there. And so no matter what I did.
So had the manager given up on him?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. The manager given up on him. And he actually said, I don't know why you're wasting your time on him. I said, well, you asked me to come in and work with him. Okay. I thought you'd get rid of him. So I was like, well, that's your job. You've asked me to come in to boost his performance. That's my job. So he was actually selling cars, and every time he sold a car, the manager hated it. And he's like, he's bloody sold another one now. I'm never going to get rid of him. Right? he's hit his target. I'm never going to get rid of him. And that was his attitude, right? So I was like, I need to get the guy out of this. So I went and spoke to another used car manager. It was round the corner, different brand. And I said, look, got this guy. And, he's doing everything I'm asking. He's putting the effort in. He's selling he's selling the cars. He's hitting the target. His manager's giving up on him. So I said, give me him. I'll take him. So got it all sorted through HR, got him moved. 3 months.
So imagine manager number 2 now has something to prove, I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely. Manager number 2, 3 months later, is on the phone going, God, this guy's amazing. Can we stick him on the Up For It program? I want him to be a manager, right? Because he was doing fantastically well. And it was phenomenal. And, it was working on the very simple basics of what's your sales activity? Let's have a look at it. Right, why have you stopped doing this? Well, the other guy's only doing it. right? Well, never mind the other guys.
Yeah.
You know, and the other guys are probably telling you that they're not doing that because a lot of salespeople will neg the other salespeople out to try and beat them on the board. You know, I don't do any of that test driving nonsense. Don't sell any of that gap. You know, and so the other sales guys will believe this and start to do it because they're the ones that are at the top of the board and looking amazing. So, you know, that moving them into the right environment was good. And also the manager had given them, these are the things that he responds to. He responds to this, he responds to that. His why, he wanted to drive a bigger car than his neighbours. So he always wanted to have a bigger car than his neighbours. With a better badge. And that was the one there. We had one recently. So we had a girl that was working in one of our sites. And again, same thing. Manager gave up on her.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I don't want her anymore. And the franchise director, he'd actually seen something in the lassie and on her abilities. And he says, well, tell you what, we'll move her down to this site. And the guy, the sales manager says, I want to have this guy that I used to work with on another site. So the two of them came down. Now, this was phenomenal because the girl, right, she knew she'd been moved. And she went, right, I'm going to show him. Right?
Yes.
So in the next 12 days, she sold 9, right? The guy who moved from the other site, who the guy really, really wanted, sold 1. And he went 20 days. So it was brilliant. And the franchise director actually phoned them up and said, do you know how that lassie's doing, by the way? Do you know how many she's sold versus your guy? And
but she had something to prove again. It's that why. And that comes back to its internal motivation and external motivation. And in the motor trade, so often we just externally motivate people. I mean, money is an external motivator, but it's always temporary. And I just think we've got to remember that any privilege becomes a right. How many times have we seen the situation where you say, right, guys, we need to focus on Gap or Life Shines or PCPs, and you pay them a big old chunk to do that PCP.
Yeah.
And then they go and do it. Right, we got to our target, we take that balance off, and then suddenly the sales plummet, okay, because the privilege has become a right. Now, I just think you found out the why there. It's not just money that motivates people. It's something that I urge you guys to try. It's something we do on our training courses. I get all the dealer principals, managers, and say, right, who's motivated by money? In fact, I had one this morning, okay? The general manager said, well, they should be. If they're not, I've got a problem. I said, okay, I get where you're coming from. Okay. And I'd like to think I'm coin operated, but let's challenge that thought slightly. If I turn around and said, hey, listen, I really appreciate you being here today because there you go, there's €1,000. Sorry, I was in Ireland. Okay. You feel good about that? Sure, yeah, of course I would. But here's the downside. That privilege of €1,000 now becomes a right. The next time you turned up on one of my training courses, what would you expect? €1,000. And if I didn't give you €1,000, what would you think of me? Well, it wasn't as good as last time, was it? But it's worse than that. If I then turn around and said, well, there you go, there's €1,000. You feel good. You feel motivated. Then get someone else and say, hey, I appreciate you being here. Listen, because there you go, there's €2,000.
Yeah, it's about €1,000.
So that €1,000 I just gave you before, is that now a motivator or a demotivator? And again, it's what? I give you €1,000 and you're upset with me, but that's the motor trade all the time because money in that scenario wasn't as important as why am I worth half of what he is? It's that internal motivation there. We see it all the time with cars. We're in the motor trade and people get so upset about why has he got the S-line and I've just got an SE? This is ridiculous. And it's like, guys, really? Are we having this conversation? But it is important to people.
Yeah. And the coin-operated one is one that gets me all the time because the problem you get with it is you're giving them a coin to do a specific operation. Next time you ask them to do an operation, they go, well, what do I get for it? Yeah. Because you've done this whole thing of if you do this, you get a reward, do this, you get a reward. And it's like a dog, you know, you watch a dog trainer with the biscuits and the dog sits and it goes, all right, where's my biscuit? Where's my biscuit? And the salespeople will be the same because that's the way that you're training them rather than coaching them and rather than leading them. Is you're doing this reward. Do 30 seat hours a day, I'll give you £100. And You know, I did do that when I was over in Valencia.
Oh, I still do it. We do it all the time. And sometimes you think, why have I fallen into that trap again? Sorry, I'm cutting you off there, but you said you did it.
Yeah, I did it in Valencia. I did this thing where if the Valencia Motor Show, it was just salespeople. And you know what salespeople are like at a motor show. And I says, listen,
oh, not a motor show. Wasting my time.
Oh, bloody tire kickers. So I said, for everybody you speak to, all you have to do is come up and say hello, and I'll give you €1. And they're like, €1? I'm like, yeah, I'll give you. So I had a big, massive bag of euros on the first day of the show, right? And so they're like, hola, ¿qué tal? You know, saying hello to everybody. And they come running up to me, give them €1. And they went, he gave me €1. And they just kept talking to everybody with the busiest stand on the show, you know, and that success breeds success. And,
wow, what did it cost you though?
So I did 139 cars in 10 days at a motor show.
Yeah.
And I spent right, €1,800 and giving them €1 for talking to people. Right?
Wow.
Not a bad closing ratio at a bloody motor show. But some of them didn't come up anymore because they were selling the cars, realising they were getting paid for selling cars. You know that there's by law you've got to have a cynical salesperson in your team. So
you have to.
He was there every time. I spoke to them.
Very good.
He wasn't selling as many cars as the guys that were positive about it, but you know.
And listen, the DPs listening to this, general managers, sales managers, there's something I want them to try. Now, again, I'm going to contradict myself by saying, be careful of being coin operated. And I am contradicting myself now, but in our business, there's something that really transformed our business probably about 6 years ago. Colin, if you start working for us, okay, you get what's called a personal best target. And I'm loving the personal best targets. And it's very, very simple. Whenever you bring in more profit than you ever have before for the month, and it's quite simple because we have the number of days consultancy that you sell, number of days training you sell, number of our sales fitness, our digital online training programs, our sim checks, we have the products we sell. Whenever you sell more of that and bring more profit in, I'll pay you your one-off bonus. Now, to get that bonus next month, guess what you need to do?
Beat your personal best.
You need to beat your personal best. Now, could you ever say that that's not achievable? I can't do that. Well, Colin, you did it last month. Why can't you do it this month? Okay. Now, I get some sales managers go, oh, hold on, Simon. What if Colin gets it 12 months in a row? And every single time I say, I hope so, because he's grown the business 12 months in a row. And then after you've been there for 12 months, we say, right, what you need to do is beat what you did January last year, beat February next year. And it just is so simple, it's easy, and it works. And I tell you what, people play golf. I'm not a golfer, but they're beating their personal best. People run marathons. They're up against their best time they want to achieve. And I just think those personal best targets, I urge any manager listening to this, work in some sort of personal best targets. And now personal best targets don't have just to be the number of units you sold, the amount of life shine you sold. It can be effort. When you've done more demonstrations than you ever have. And let's give you a personal best target. Now, it doesn't even have to be monetary.
It could be the most 5-star rated see it nows in a month. We've got one of our sites. It's actually one of my favourite sites. And I want to,
are you allowed to have a favourite site?
Yeah, you're not supposed to have favourites.
Is that allowed?
I'm not telling you what that is, right? But so they've actually got those personal bests on the wall. And it'll say this month, and I'm not going to name any salespeople now because all the other people are listening. Oh, you like saying more than me, does he? But yeah, so it's and they're one of my favourites because of this, because they actually take it and they'll say, you know, and I'm going to pick names that we have people we don't employ, so we don't have any Franks, right? So Frank made X amount of profit in a deal. Frank had X amount of used car finance penetration, and so that personal best target, they write it on the wall, and then they'll paint over it and write a new one on, and it's phenomenal. So absolutely, they were highly rated by the manufacturer. I'm really doing my best not to reveal who they are, because I shouldn't have preceded it with my favourite dealership. But they, so they were highly rated by the manufacturer, and they have been for over 10 years, every year consistently for their performance, not just financially, but also with customer satisfaction and with volume targets.
Love it.
And so I'm with you. If you're looking for people to run personal best targets as a motivator, and obviously, you know, from a sport background like I've got, I'm always looking to beat personal best myself. when it comes to these kind of things. So they're absolutely brilliant.
In the sporting world, that's what we do naturally. People are fighting against themselves. Okay. I mean, Lewis Hamilton, is he really going for the 8th world champion just so he can earn more money for his jet? Is it? No, he's probably doing it to see, can I beat the best of the best? He's already matched Michael Schumacher, I think. I think he just probably wants to see, can I actually do it? Hey, listen, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about another incentive, and this might be, people might kick around some ideas. I want to ask you, what's a great incentive you've seen before? Because, hey, listen, we're going to be coming up to this year. There's going to be a plate change month in the UK where you're based. September, people are going to be wanting to do that. I know in Ireland in July, it's coming up to a plate change. The Australian market at the moment, it's getting very, very busy at the moment. And people will be looking for incentives in the business to put a bit of fun in. Let me run you one from a man called Tony Ireland. This is one of the most clever incentives I've ever seen. What he did was, he said, if we actually put in a bonus for each individual salespeople, okay, he used to have a big old sales team. There's something like 12, maybe 15 salespeople there. It would cost him a lot of money. So what he did is he had a winner takes all pot prize. But the downside of that is halfway through a campaign period, there's often a clear winner. And what happens is that person gives up because they're going to get it anyway. But everyone else gives up because they know, oh, Colin's going to win it again. So he'd done this. It was so simple. He said, hey, listen, every time you do a demonstration drive, I'm going to give you a playing card. Just an everyday simple playing card. Whoever has the best poker hand at the end of this campaign period wins the prize. And it was simple as that. So first the prize was a winner takes all pot. And then I can remember salespeople wanting to do demonstration drives just to get a playing card. And once they got that playing card, they get another one. But then the genius of it was he turned it into a training session. So you get the sales meeting and say, right, Billy, how many playing cards do you have? Got 20 here. Okay, great. How many cars did you sell? 10. Funny that. How many cards have you got? 8. Right. How many cars have you sold? I only sold 3. Funny that. How many have you got? So he turned it into a little, it was a bit of game. It was a bit of fun. There was monetary prize there, but what I loved about it, there was no clear winner until the end. So everyone kept on pushing till the end. Okay. And it just put the fun in the team. Okay. Now you can do that on so many different things. And by the way, demonstration is what I use it on now, but he did it on used cars. You can do it on new cars. Yeah. You can do it on value added products. You can do it on prospecting calls, whatever part. And I urge you to look at effort, not the result. Now, listen, if you want the rules of that poker game competition, send us a message because there's lots of gotchas on it. You might have 3 or 4 packs of cards, so you need to make sure there's no double ups. You need to make sure the guys don't mark the cards when they're handed out. There's so many little gotchas on it, but it's such a great little incentive to put the fun back in the team. So listen, that's one that I come across. Hey, Colin, what's one that you've come across that you think, this works a treat for us?
Well, the playing card one I've done, and we used to sign the back of the playing card so that nobody bought in extra playing cards.
yes, I know that. Or swap cards.
And 2 jokers.
Yes.
Yeah, you're the joker, pal. You know, so that is a cracker. That's great fun. We've done the one with the 9 square grid, and again,
I love the 9 square. Yeah.
The beautiful thing with that is everybody keeps selling because the more cars that get sold from that, everyone's making money. So it doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
It brings the team together, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the good thing with it. So you've got the target cars there, and it doesn't have to be 9. It can be more than 9, but it works backwards, and they were great fun. We did one with and it was a Gone in 60 Days campaign, and we had 60 target cars to move, and there was a holiday up for grabs, and what was amazing.
It's a big incentive.
Yeah, it was an absolute cracker. There was a holiday in New York. And there was like £1,500 expenses paid. Then there was the second prize was Paris, €1,000 expenses paid, and then the third prize was London, £500 paid. Probably London's the dearest one of the 3 you live in, but there we go.
Yes.
So it kept everybody going for the first, second, and third, and it was really, really good. And one of the great things about it is that there was a clear winner, but everyone was like, oh no, I reckon I can catch them. And the managers are going, listen, if you can do X, Y, you could catch that person. You could catch that person. And we had a surprise winner. So we had a van centre with one guy in it, right? One, and he was like knocking it out the park. He was nicking the overage vans to the other two centres and just selling them. And the other guys in the other two centres are going, "How's she getting there?" Well, you keep vans. So he was like outperforming in terms of number of people in the dealership, number of stock he had. He was really creative and doing it. And then about a week from the end, the clear winner, their mum get ill. Oh. And so they were like, they had to take time off to look after their mum. And so it's like, everyone's keep going. And then Chris, being the guy he is, he gave the clear winner the top price in New York with their mum, with the 1,500 pounds or whatever it was in dollars. And then the other guy for the van centre, he also got the top prize of going to New York as well. And then
did he have to look after the mother as well?
He had to look after
the
mother. Okay. I think he meant to be his son, but yeah.
Okay.
That would have been funny. But yeah, that was the third prize was you had to look after the mum.
Yeah. Yes.
So they got, but what was great about that is not only was it a great competition, but the fact that happened and then that person got treated fairly.
Yeah.
Because they just prorated. If you'd have kept going at your run rate, you would have won.
You would have been there.
But at the same time, this guy who was outperforming, the size of his site, one-man site, and he had to get rewarded for that effort because he was just phenomenal and creative.
And listen, not only is it the right thing to do, his mother got ill, but that message goes across the whole group.
Exactly.
It just says, hey, we really do look after our people. This is not just a title. This is not just a strap line that we look after our people. You actually just do it.
Yeah. So you're back to that bowling ball. If the screen was there, they could have went, "You missed," and you have got it. But actually, if you hadn't stopped bowling because of another issue that was out of your hands, you would have got it. And that was the thing.
Yeah. I suppose anyone new coming in the management time, I suppose what I would preach to them is look for the effort, reward the effort, not just the results. Listen, the results will look after themselves if you get the effort right. So that's what I would want to leave anyone that's new to management. Any last thing you want to leave that new manager that they should really focus on?
I think for the new manager it is, look to give performance enhancing feedback. Look at for a positive in what you're doing and reward that positive. It's very easy to fall into that. You're shit at that and you're rubbish at that and you missed that. It's actually harder to give them that encouragement, but that encouragement will get you the longer result. Look at how able we all are to walk now. We can even do it drunk. We can do it 2 a.m, do it in the dark. It's amazing. That's the result of positive reinforcement. Look for that. That is probably the toughest thing about being a manager is not fitting in with the shouty bally.
Yep. Listen, thank you again. I really appreciate time, and we'll look forward to you again with some more tips and advice, I'm sure, in the future. So we really do appreciate that.
That's been fantastic.
Again, guys, if you like this, please send it on to your managers within your dealerships, within your group there. There's lots of great ideas on the Selling in the Motor Trade podcast. I think we're up to about 50 or 60 of these modules at the moment. There's so much great advice from industry leaders like Colin, and tips and ideas that can help you and your team in your business. Thanks again. That just leaves me to say that all details of this episode and other episodes on the Selling in the Motor Trade can be found on our website, symcotraining.co.uk. Go there to get a copy of our book, Words That Sell Cars. Go there to sign up to a free trial of our Sales Fitness online sales training program. Easiest way to get hold of me is Simon Bowkett through LinkedIn. Thank you.